Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Cherika Brown again, and we're on episode 12 of Cherika Be Talking, cause I be talking. And today's question is, what are the steps to take in loving yourself? Now, when I first received this question, it had my mind everywhere because it's so broad to me, even though someone may think, well, that's a really simple question. I don't think that there's just like 10 steps I can list for loving yourself. I mean, I can, but I think it's more so of a process because people are constantly changing and constantly evolving and having new experiences, different walks in life, and meeting new people. So loving yourself is an ongoing process and things that you have to come back to the room and you have to reevaluate, you have to do self-evaluations, and you have to figure out how to continuously love yourself as you progress and have new experiences and new things that you run into in life. Now, when we talk about loving ourselves, the first thing I want you to realize is that no one loves you how you love yourself, and no one can love you if you don't first love yourself. And you got to keep that in mind when you're doing every single thing in life, when you're making every single decision, because ultimately your life is in your hands. Now, with that being said, how you talk to yourself, self-talk is extremely important. Speak life into yourself. I know a lot of people say that words of affirmation help them. So if you have the sticky notes or something and you can write down some specific things, you have to be very specific. Now, you know your weaknesses. You know what you don't admit to your friends or admit to your family and your co-workers or just anybody that you even vent to. You know yourself best. So whatever things you're lacking in or things you struggle with privately, write those words of affirmations down and be the positive light in your own life. Read those things to yourself in the mirror if that helps you. I know words of affirmation is one of the 5 love languages. So maybe if you even go online and take that 5 love languages quiz and see if words of affirmation is one of your top love languages or your number 1 or 2 or 3, you want to start focusing on that for yourself and start loving yourself that way. I know I constantly have to remind myself just not to be so hard on myself. I don't do words of affirmation or anything. I haven't tried it or tested it out, but I know how I talk to myself. When I give myself a pep talk, I'm good to go, because you have to be your closest friend, and sometimes you have to be your own consultant. Like Lil Wayne say, talking to myself because I am my own consultant. So talk to yourself and be nice to yourself. Be chill and relax on yourself sometimes. Don't beat yourself up too much. When you're writing your words of affirmation and everything, think back on your life and just reflect on your life. Like really ponder on it. And ask yourself, have anyone when you were younger ever spoke negatively to you or about you, or you possibly even believe what they said about you? If so, you got to write some things to counter those things. Don't believe those things and work towards being the opposite of any of those negative things. We have to realize that some of the things that we fight with as teenagers, as young adults, and even in our adulthood are things that we experience negatively as a child. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. Speak positively to yourself. It sounds easy, but it's going to be tough if that negativity is what's embedded in you, even though it sounds like it's so simple, like just gotta talk good to myself. Like, no, speak life into yourself, speak life over yourself, and truly believe that there is power in life and death in the tongue, for real. Also, you got to require that other people respect you. Don't let people get away with just being like that. If they just being like that is blatantly rude or it's hurting you, you got to let people know, like, man, that's not cool. Like, you ain't gonna do me like that. Like, you got to figure out another way, because I don't communicate like that. I don't get down like that. Let people know. Don't let people just run and walk all over you and you be okay with it, because people feel when they're not treating you how they should be treating you. People know when they're not treating people kind. They know that, because even me, I'm a firm and sturdy person, but like if I say something, just being like how I am, sometimes I catch myself like, dang, she too nice. I shouldn't have said that to her. And then I'll go back and fix it. Like, I ain't mean to say it like that, because that's a process of growing. So let people know. If you don't let people know, you also heard of closed mouths don't get fed. So keep that in mind when you're just letting people talk to you any kind of way. And you got to know that if you don't check certain things and your confidence level already isn't where you would like for it to be or where it should be, people can ruin your entire perception of yourself. They can make you feel worthless. Like, people can honestly make you feel like nothing if you allow them to just talk to you any kind of way. That's why I always tell people to be careful who they even listen to online or just in person or just in general, because with online, social media gave everybody a platform. No matter how many followers we got, no matter how many views, how many likes you get in, you got a platform, because anybody can run across your page and anybody can be influenced. That's the purpose of social media. And whatever you give energy to could be feeding you subconsciously. So you have to be careful of those things. Everyone have their own issues and dealing with their own traumas, and possibly even projecting that and pouring that out into the world. So you have to be cautious and you have to tread lightly when you're just scrolling up and down social media all day and you may not like yourself or even love yourself. Be careful what you're feeding yourself. People can want you to feel less than because someone hurt them. You honestly don't know what somebody's going through. You can't be on social media or in real life seeing what other people have materialistically, or just seeing what their relationships are like with other people and thinking that you want that, because you don't know what they experience in their personal life. You don't go home with them. You don't see when they're crying at night or crying in their car or crying in the shower, or when they're struggling with certain things that you wouldn't ever wish you would struggle with, because you don't struggle with it and you can't imagine struggling with the type of things that they struggle with. So you don't know what other people go through or how they've been hurt. And a lot of people online, when they're giving this some advice, or when they're talking down on certain groups of people or making you feel less than, you don't understand this, because misery loves company and they're honestly miserable. But just because they're not looking miserable or they have a huge following, the world isn't taking that as, oh, they're just trying to bring other people down. They think, well, a lot of people follow this person, so maybe what they're saying is actually true, but people just scared to say the truth. So you have to be careful and don't be a follower. Social media created a whole bunch of followers, and you got to remember that you want to be a leader in a world full of followers. And in a world looking for likes, in a world looking for acceptance, in a world looking for views, you have to stand out and not fit in. The average person is going to fit in. If you want to be in the top of the top, you got to do what makes you different and what makes you unique, and embrace that about yourself, and don't go looking for it in other people. Even if you've never had someone talk to you negatively directly, perhaps you grew up in an environment where you never really saw examples of people that you looked up to or people that you aspired to be like. And rather than that, you just saw people and examples of things that you didn't want to be. You didn't see no role models. You didn't see leaders. When you looked at TV, you didn't see people that possibly came from the environment you were in. When people came to your school career day and spoke with suits on, you didn't see the average person that you saw every day. So you counted yourself out, and subconsciously you became your own hindrance because you didn't believe in yourself. Because of your environment, you thought that there wasn't more to life. So you held yourself back. And if that is the case, you may want to tap into your talents or tap into things that you enjoy and go out and explore the world, and everything that you thought you can't do, make those can'ts, turn those into cans. And when you do that, you'll start to embrace yourself more and believe in yourself more, and ultimately like yourself and start to love yourself more. Not only does how you allow other people to talk to you is important, how you allow other people to treat you is also an indicator of self-love. Do you allow people to constantly break promises and then come back into your life? Or do you allow people to indirectly disrespect you or blatantly disrespect you? Do you tolerate people or significant others whose actions doesn't align with their words all the time? Or do you make excuses for grown people that got common sense and is constantly being rude or disrespecting you? Do you make excuses for grown people that know better? If so, it's time to stop all that. It's great to spread love. It's great to genuinely love and be in love and everything. But if the people you love are constantly hurting you, you have to choose you. Otherwise, the love that you have for other people will turn into the control they have over your life. Anytime someone is constantly controlling how you feel, what you do, what you don't do, you're choosing them over yourself. So hurt isn't always physical. It can be emotional, and it can be very draining only if you allow it to be. So you can't love other people, but you ain't even loving yourself. You got to choose you. When considering how other people treat you, you have to keep in mind that people will treat you how you treat yourself. So treat yourself, protect yourself, and take care of yourself, whatever that may look like to you. Don't let nobody else tell you what treating yourself look like to you in your life. To one person, it may be getting your nails and hair done and everything else fixed. To another person, it may be going to read a book or educate yourself or gain more knowledge. So how you treat yourself and feeling good on the inside, what truly fulfills you, is an individual thing, and it may vary from person to person. One person that may be staying at home looking at Netflix all day, looking at movies and catching up on a series that they missed to clear their mind. Another person that may be going out to party with some friends or just going out for a night ride or night cruise. Do what makes you happy. When you do what makes you happy, you would definitely like and love yourself more and find happiness within yourself. Also, with loving yourself, sometimes you have to get specific with thinking about the way you carry yourself or how you may be viewed to someone else. It's sad to say, but we live in a world where perception sometimes can be reality. So sometimes with self-love and how people treat you, they'll look at how you treat yourself or even how you carry yourself. So I put myself in other people's shoes sometimes, and sometimes I just think like, if I was another person, I'm looking at a girl my age, in my generation, doing what I'm doing, wearing what I'm wearing, or talking how I'm talking, how would I perceive that girl if I am a complete stranger? You know, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand that people will perceive you certain ways, and you can be the complete opposite. But sometimes you have to carry yourself in a way that will make a complete stranger even know like, oh, okay, so yeah, I gotta respect her, or yeah, I shouldn't talk to her that way, because they're looking at you in a different lens than your best friend or your mom or your dad or your cousin that know exactly how you are, or just somebody that's really close to you. So you have to understand that when strangers see you, you want them to perceive you in a way that they can respect you and that they will respect you. Even though some people are just blatantly rude and disrespectful, you would want to know that it wasn't on my end, and that's just the type of person they are and not the person that I perceived or that I brought into the room for them to act that way, you know? Now that one is tricky and tough, and I say that just to say that other people's opinions shouldn't dictate your life, but it does matter. And I wouldn't act like it doesn't matter. How you carry yourself can improperly introduce you to a complete stranger is all I'm trying to say with that. But don't let that dictate your life. So don't always think about what other people think about you, but just be careful with just how you're carrying yourself or treating yourself. Now, with that being said, I also want to say that confidence is key, and you got to own your individuality. The things and the traits that make you different are the very things that makes you unique. I saw a quote one time online that said something like, confidence isn't walking in a room and thinking you better than everybody. Confidence is walking in the room and not having to compare yourself to everyone else or other people. Confidence and self-love to me go hand in hand, because if you're not careful, you'll end up comparing your life to other people's life in real life or on social media. And comparison is the thief of joy. Ultimately, when you start comparing your life to other people, you may unintentionally view yourself as not worthy or not good enough, and you may start wanting something or chasing things that's not intended for you. Like God never had that in your plan, but because you're letting other people's opinions influence you too much and completely dictate your life, now you're living a life that wasn't designed for you, or a life that wasn't in the plan to begin with. So be very careful when you're looking at other people's life and you're actually comparing and you're starting to want what somebody else wants, because that may not have been for you. And understand that and respect that. And people say that that's something easy, but everybody, if you're on social media, you're influenced by something that you see in some type of way. Some way more than others, but everybody is being influenced. That's the point of media. That's the point of commercials and ads and everything, because what we see and what we perceive to be the image and what we perceive to be important, or what people want and desirable, people will be influenced by that, and that changes your mind or manipulates your mind. So you have to struggle and you have to oppose and counter some of those things that you know aren't truly in line with your life, your morals, your values, or just what you want out of life. I would conclude this by saying, hold yourself accountable. Make sure you are talking to people and treating people with the same respect that you want to receive. Make sure you're constantly working to become your best self. Address whatever it is that you may not like or love about yourself, and start to make changes to any of those things that you can control without risking your life. Perhaps you would like to work out more, eat healthier, communicate more efficiently, decide your hobbies and talents, and tap into your purpose, things like that. But even though I've listed some things to give you thoughts and of what caused you or may have caused you to lack self-love, keep in mind that you can only change yourself. You can't change nobody else. Don't expect people to take responsibility for the damage that they may have caused you, but also don't beat yourself up and be extra hard on yourself about the damage that you may have caused yourself. And I'm just gonna end this by saying, y'all remember, self-love is the best love. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and y'all know I'll be back, because I be talking. Peace.